You guys know these demo tapes don't just edit themselves together, right?
Well, all right.
3 cheers for Stephen Phillips.
Y'all need to help Stephen Phillips out over there. Out the door and off the radio.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
That would be me, folks. We're coming in with a 65 degrees on the high today, 46 on the low tonight. I'm ready. Look like 69 on the high Wednesday. It's kind of warming up a little bit, but welcome to Georgia where it's 30 in the morning and 70 in the afternoon. So I don't know. You have to dress warm and then throw it all off. We got Mr. Ed back in with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing good today. Today is Mom and Pop Business Owners Day. Don't you love it? Mom and Pop businesses are about a thing of the past.
Joe Biden is where they won't exist anymore.
I think Walmart's the one put them out. National Vietnam War Veterans Day. Now, there's something you can get behind. We appreciate all our veterans out there, and I know the Vietnam War veterans kind of got the short end of the stick when all that was going on. So, anyway, we'd like to thank you. We love you. I guarantee it. And
Absolutely.
I had birthdays up here. Let's see what we got on.
Speaking of that Mom and Pop's Business Owner Day, just coincidentally, it's Sam Walton's birthday.
Oh, how about that? Maybe that's why they made it that day, because he put them out of business. Right? The super centers. I think they're kind of getting older and older, ain't they? I mean, right?
You're talking about the 24-hour superstores?
Yeah. Hey, we need to give Stephen Allison a happy birthday. He used to work over here a little bit back in the day. Remember him, Steve? All the folks that lose their election, that's where they end up over here. Bunny Williams, happy birthday to you too also. So while we're on that. And But who else you got on the famous side of things, man?
No, I'm going to tell you what. I'm not going to put any of the TikTok stars or the Facebook stars or any of the YouTube
Hey, John Tyler.
stars.
John Tyler.
It's John Tyler.
He was a president, they said, back in 1790.
Yeah, everybody knows John. I thought
you do your history and all that stuff and your amendments.
You didn't ask me about history today.
Oh, okay. There you go.
He succeeded William Henry Harrison. He was the first president to go into office because another one died.
Yeah. See, you guys deal with that kind of stuff. I deal with important issues, like in 1987 in WrestleMania 3.
Now you're talking.
Where defeated Andre the Giant. Those are the important things we need to be discussing.
I think he's got his own restaurant now, don't he?
The Hulkster?
I think he's got his own restaurant.
Probably.
Anyway, we hope everybody's doing good. We got Gaylan Truell over here today from the Murphy Andrews Airport. And then Hippie's going to be with him, so we'll be talking about some stuff that's going on over in North Carolina. Always glad to have them over there. And if y'all have not been over to the airport, you need to go hang out. It's a cool place to be. And you go over on Saturday, there's no telling who you'll bump into. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't want to run into any, comedians or movie stars because I don't want to see any slapping going on.
Well, you got a lot of folks flying there. It goes and does shows over at Cherokee, so they fly in there, and so that's pretty cool. But anyway,
Stephen Phillips is sweating. He's got to give away some money in 2 days.
How come I got to do that, Packy?
Well, because we're giving away money on our YouTube channel.
And how do they get that money, Packy?
They go to youtube.com and search for The Morning Dish and hit subscribe on the channel, and that's all you got to do to get your name in the hat to win $100 cash.
That's easy. And it's cash. It's not one of them checks either. It's cash. So I do that. And we've been gaining subscribers. How many we got now? 12, 13, 14, 15? Anyway, I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? I do. Please go subscribe. Please go subscribe. If you would. We got to get to a break because we don't get them in here and see what's going on over in
The Morning Dish.
The Tuesday Morning Dish is powered by Young Harris Water Sports. You want to deal with people who love boats? You've come to the right place. From a new covered storage facility to boat consignment services, it's all in one place with Young Harris Water Sports.
All righty, folks, we're back with you. Everybody's tuned in and listening. If you'd like to watch, you can go to The Morning Dish. Stephen Phillips with The Morning Dish on YouTube. We are live streaming now, and we got all the whistles and bells over here. We got a couple of big wigs in with us today. Gaylan Truell, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Stephen. How are you?
I'm good. And how about you, Hippie?
I'm doing great.
Man, I don't know. They call you Hippie, but you ain't got no hippie hair, dadgummit.
I know it.
Well,
Let me tell you how I got that name.
I'd like to know. I'm thinking a lot of folks out there, inquiring minds, want to know.
Well, when I was 14 years old,
Right.
playing football at Murphy High School, I got knocked out at practice. Got up, got in the wrong huddle, and one of the coaches come out there and got me and said, "Boy, you act like you're on dope." And it stuck.
There
They
you go.
started calling me hippie. And that's a crazy story, but that's how it happened.
You know, you wonder how all these folks get named.
And I get asked that every day, and I've been called that. I mean, the only person that don't call me hippie's my wife, you know.
And I don't want to know what she calls you. No, don't tell us.
She calls me Gary.
Oh, does she? She calls you baby cakes or sugar plum or something. Cornbread. There you go. Anyway.
I was going to ask you what your wife calls you, but I don't want you coming over here and slapping me.
Oh, great. I'm going to do that. We're going to do that here in a minute. I'm going to slap on Ed over here and see if I can get the notoriety like they did with Will Smith and them. So just any moment now, y'all tune in. But anyway, what we got going on, man? It seems like elections coming up, and it's just one thing after another. And kind of tell us where we're at and what's happening.
You know, we voted on something we've been working on for 7.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a new EMS Station 1, and we voted last week to finally get that done.
Right.
And hesitating and kicking the can down the road has cost us $1 million on it. So,
right.
And we got it done. I mean, we've tried to get people to bid on it, and they wouldn't. And finally, there at the end, after we voted on it, they allegedly brought up a couple of guys that wanted to vote on it, but I'm not sure they were qualified to vote on it. But they might have been, but I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like that's going to happen. That's a great thing, and we're going to have a grand opening on that, or a groundbreaking on that, next Tuesday at 2:00.
Right.
And
now, one of the things with that, a lot of people don't realize the fire stations, and they're like, "Oh, that's not a big deal." That actually saves insurance on your home insurance.
The fire does. But this is an EMS station, and our facilities were the worst in the state.
Really?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, ain't good.
Yeah, and we were trying to get. I mean, you can go to Clay County, Graham County, Union County, Towns County. They've got great facilities, and it's not fair for the people that work there, for the facilities not to be in great shape.
Well, no. When I call 911, I'd like for somebody to show up. You know?
Well, those guys need to live in good conditions because they've got your.
I was just over Station 2, and I saw a note. Stephen Phillips calls up, put him on hold.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, that's the thing about government. You know, you don't realize a lot of the stuff that's going on. But now you say kick the can down the road. What are you talking about, kicking the can down the road? Y'all been trying to do this for a while?
What, 7.5 years? 7 years, 4 months. And it's gone from, 2 places, different places. And I guess the last 4 years, it's gone from 1.2 to $2.4 million. And that's because we stall and kick the can down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I actually redid the dome on top of the courthouse in Cherokee County, which saved the county. The bid on it was $1 million.
Wow.
So I physically did that, got up there at the crane and removed it. And, I told you before the show it had 62 holes in it.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
And one arrow stuck through it. And we worked on that thing for 17 months.
Right.
And put it up there, and we set aside $650,000 to use on that. So if we use that money and what we got in grant money from Carl Gillespie and Kevin Corbin, I mean, we're in pretty good shape. We're at 1.8, and the thing's going to be 2.4. So really, the money I helped them save and the money that Kevin and Carl gave us makes it pretty cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Good deal.
There ain't no doubt. How many? 60 what?
Do what?
How many bullet holes?
62 bullet holes in it.
There go, man.
And actually, there was an arrow stuck through one of the columns.
No
that
kidding.
Had been there for a long time.
I'd say so, yeah, man. That's been there a long time.
I've got the arrow at the house.
Yeah, you need to.
That was the only souvenir I got from doing it.
You need to frame that and hang that inside the courthouse.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I don't think people realize sometimes we're very blessed in this area because we do have so many of our politicians who actually go out and do a lot of the work, a lot of the legwork, and a lot of physical work that would literally cost thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We see it here in Union County. I know Towns County, you guys over in Cherokee County. So, people need to look at the people they're electing to see who talks the talk and who actually goes out and does the hard physical labor.
A lot of people have personal vendettas, in our county, and it really hurts the county. Mm-hmm. And a good example of that is we have, school consolidation, and we had 2 of our commissioners that voted against a $50 million grant on that. And what was bad about that, if we do 1 school, 2 schools, 3 schools, whatever, that money could have been used for all of it. But we were pretty much told that if we were united, that we would get that money, and they voted against it. So
Why did they vote? Who? Can I say that? Can I ask who?
Cal Stiles and Jan Griggs voted against
What
it.
was their reasoning behind it?
You know, I don't know. I think it's a personal vendetta against the other three commissioners. I don't know. How can you vote against that?
So if you're a parent and
They
you
are
have
not
three
for
kids
the-
in three different grades,
Right.
you'll be able to take them to one location. And I think, Stephen, you talked about this before with bus driving.
Well, I'm
What
gonna tell
what
you.
about the safety factor. That, to me, is a big thing that, Board of Education or the county fathers need to
That
take into
the
consideration.
school consolidation, I know probably there's got to be people against it. There always are. I don't understand, but anyway, we have a comprehensive school here in Towns County, and we've got all of our school kids on one campus. We all pick up the kids from one campus with the buses and deliver them all. Instead of having several different schools that you have to drive from one location to another location, you have to have different buses for different places. And then when the people are taking their kids to school, they take them to one location, they pick them up at one location. The convenience of that is worth it to me, just the convenience of having all the kids at one spot. And then it comes to security. Instead of having to worry about security for several schools that scattered out through the county, you've got one location that you can, to me, it's like it's easier to protect one place than it is several.
Yeah. Well, at one time we were talking about two schools, but we're in some lawsuits through DSS, which puts us in a position that we can only have one school. That's all
Right.
we can afford. But regardless if we have one school, two schools, or three schools, they still voted against.
So where's the money at now? You don't have it? The $50 million, is it gone?
Don't know. I mean, that we should find out the first 2 weeks in April.
Right.
They voted against it. It should have been unanimous. If they'd have been unanimous, we would have had a super good chance of getting it way up in the 90s. Them voting against it and actually wanting us to send a letter to the committee saying we didn't vote unanimous really hurt us. And everybody else that applied, from my understanding, they were unanimous in how they voted on that.
What was their purpose, you think, for voting against it? I mean, that
I
just
think it
doesn't
was-
make sense. It'd take a complete idiot to turn down $50 million for the schools. I mean,
What about the kids?
Yeah. The
that
kids
drives
should
me
come
crazy.
first, yeah.
When you see all these school districts throughout the country, it's like they don't even take into consideration the kids. They're supposed to be educating, the best education. You put it in a unified school district, you can now use your funding a lot more streamlined to get things that the kids need.
Yeah. We actually had 8 physicians come to Cherokee County last year.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the 8, 7 of them had school-age kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to Union County.
Well, that's the thing. Yesterday we had the superintendent from Union County on here, and me being out, I'm a garbage man, so I see people all the time that moving into the area, and a lot of people are going to Union County because of the schools. That's a big issue when you got kids. That's a big issue.
Sure it is.
Yeah, it's a big issue. And
Well, economic development, whatever you do. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Great schools pull in great people, and we want great people in our county. So.
and great schools make great people.
Right.
There's the thing on that. But y'all have had several issues with some grant money over there that y'all did not get because of, I guess, voting on the board. I mean, even with the airport, y'all had a grant that I know that ended up going to Durham or someplace else.
Yeah, we, and that's another thing that doesn't really make sense. Why in the world would you give away free money?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we get from the state an average of around $150,000 a year. They give every little airport that for just general maintenance and upkeep.
Right.
And Cherokee County over there hadn't used it in 3 years, and they were running on a time limit.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to earmark that money for something at the airport or they were going to lose it. And what really blows my mind then is from what I've been told, the Commissioner Cal Stiles had pretty much told them, say, well, we want to use this money for other stuff, and the guy said, no, this got to be used for the airport.
Right.
And everybody knows Cal has no need for the airport whatsoever. He's tried to sell it here a couple of years ago, and brought it before the board, to try to sell the airport. But what blows my mind is they said, well, we don't want that money then. So they took that $450,000 and it went to Shelby, North Carolina, and they got a new terminal building out there.
Well,
So I think what they should do, they should get a hold of somebody out there in Shelby and see if they can't name that terminal out there the Cal Stiles Terminal, because he took it away from Cherokee County and sent it out state, to someplace else. But
I've been okay. I'm kind of got since my boys have been in flying and aviation, and I've got to where I like to hang out with airports. I like to be there, and anybody. Your airport, and I'm not just saying that because you're here, but it is the most friendliest. And we were over there one Saturday, and it was like a family reunion. People you didn't even know. I mean, they were over there and doing their planes and looking at their planes and this, that, and the other. I mean,
it's like that a lot over there. We
Right.
really changed that place. It's family friendly.
Yeah.
A lot of kids, and we have a good program over there. With the Western Carolina Youth Aviation Foundation, which.
Right.
If I can brag a little bit.
Please do.
They elected me president last week of the Youth Aviation Foundation. So I was real excited about that. I worked really hard, for these kids. We put a lot of them through the program. And I want to keep this going, and that's one way I can guarantee, that these kids are going to have a way, that flying's expensive.
Oh yeah, you ain't
And
doubting.
if
Yeah.
We do this through donations, and if we can get these kids a career, we've got close to a dozen right now that went through this program that are dead set on a career in aviation, and they're doing really, really good.
And that's the thing about it, we've had Steve on here and he talked about it, and he flies. We can't say who he flies for because we won't get him fired. But anyway, he is making doctors pay flying. Yeah. And the thing about it is he's having a ball because, he's flying all over the country. And that's like my boys. That's what they're planning on doing. That's what they're set to get into that. And like I said, it is a career that will last forever. They're begging for pilots right now.
Oh, yeah, they're really short. Mm-hmm. It's we've had a couple of guys come over there and at the airport, and now both of them are working for an airline. I mean, it's real. It looks really great, for careers.
Did you not start some kind of class with the Cherokee County schools on aviation?
Yeah, we when I retired and went to the airport, the county actually come to me and wanted me to take the airport over there and see if I could get it up and going, because it was kind of dead.
Right.
But and we started this program, and I seen Clay County had an aviation science class,
right.
And I'm like, Clay County has an aviation science class. That kind of floored me,
Right.
I'm like, wow, I've got to go see this, and went over there. It was a great program, and so we started working with them, and then got in touch with Dr. Gina Conley from Cherokee County.
Right.
She was excited about it, and then we got Tri-County Tech involved, and they got excited about it. So we've got a program going now with Cherokee County Schools and Tri-County Community College over there with their early college course. We got a bunch of kids involved in that.
That's great. I'm all about the kids. I am, because that's our future. There's no doubt.
It's not just about the kids either. It's about business. It's about business. You mentioned something. You've got the casino there. You've got industry coming in. People need to have access to get to the community.
Yeah, that airport's really it's important as far as, if we're ever, Hippie knows this more than I do, if we're going to get new industry to come into this area, we've got to have an airport.
Mm-hmm.
And good schools.
Well, that's the truth.
Yep,
Those two
big
things are essential, and those are the two things I think we ought to fight for.
Yeah.
And, things are looking good as far as the airport, and we're working on things like getting assisted living into Cherokee County.
Right.
You guys have got that down there, and it's expanding, and we can't even get it. I mean, because of politics and.
I'll tell you, it's just the thing. That's the thing about politics that just frustrates me, and I was involved a little bit on that. But there's always one that just is just a dang cuckleburr in you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's just
that's why I'm quitting. I'm tired of it.
I mean, it's just a fight, a feud, and a fuss. And if it ain't my way, it's no way. And it's like, look, we ain't doing for me. We're doing for the county, the good for the county. And if I don't agree, and then it goes in, then I'm gonna support it. If there's something going on and I vote against it. and the rest of the crew votes for it, then I'm for it. I'm going to support it. I'm going to support what the majority rules on that kind of thing. And that's kind of way that you're put in there for, is to talk to the people, vote the way the people want, and then once it's in, go. But this fighting and feuding and all this stuff just for your own pettishness is just.
It's the speaking with one voice is powerful, and it brings the community together, because the community goes, okay, if they're speaking with one voice, then we have more confidence in what's going on. When you have somebody, what's that old saying, not my way or your way, but the best way? That's what gets people the confidence in their politicians.
Well, go back to the airport. We've had some runway lights that have been on that airstrip for 43 years, I do believe.
Right.
Some people think it's old as 50 years, but they voted against replacing those. And I'm thinking, whoa, they want $100,000 fence, but they don't want to get the lights fixed on the runway.
I'd rather have the lights. What is the lights called now? My boys are trying to teach me when you come in. Okay, you got the lights that shine, and it's like they're red and.
Yeah, you've got PAPI lights. It's path alignment lights. That tell
Right.
you if you're high or low.
Yeah, what do they got a saying for that? If it's red, you're dead. If it's
red over red, you're dead. White over red, you're all right.
okay.
So, but
I don't understand
with that one than you are with the snake one, with the coral
when y'all
snake
are
one.
landing, when you're landing over there, that's something that, like I said, the lights.
yes, it's important.
Yeah.
And we need to. It's like Hippie said. We're dealing with 40-some plus years of old lights over there, and and we try to keep them working, and they're sold, and the electrical box over there that runs them all, because pilots can turn these lights off and on from the airplane,
right,
supposedly, if they're working right. But we really need to think about, and go forward with this program, because we had it started, and then it goes back to, just because it got voted in, if I can stop it, I'm going to stop it. But it goes back to, this same guy that's, he's dead set against the airport. And it goes back years ago. We used to have an airport advisory board.
Right.
And an airport advisory board is made up of a lot of local guys that have a lot of knowledge, for the airport. And when Cal Stiles got finally elected chairman, one of his first actions was to dissolve the airport authority board. That was one of his way of getting rid of the airport. And without an airport authority board, your throat's cut. You got to have one if you're going to get grants and stuff from the federal, from Fed money. And he knew by getting rid of this board that he would cut us off from any grants. So he has cost us over $1 million in the last few years by making us not qualify, for these grants.
Wow.
So we've got to get another board up and going and get our name in the hat. There's this one guy, Matthew Burrell, that's running for Congress over there. He's been on the Asheville board for 10 plus years, and he says, he showed me the numbers on that. There's over $40 million out there for little local airports, and if we can get our name in the pot, we can possibly get some of this money.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you on that. We got to take a short break, folks, and we ain't gonna give up on these guys, because they got a lot of stuff going on that I'm interested in, especially the airport and talking about the lights and the fuse panel. I guess it's getting hard to find them little screw-in fuses. Them things are a thing in the past. So, but you got to be careful of that. But anyway, let's take us to a break, Kerr.
Well, today, Young Harris.
The Morning Dish. Young Harris Water Sports says it may be Tuesday, but on the lake, every day's the weekend. Young Harris Water Sports is ranked #1 in customer service and boasts the #1 full marine service department in the mountain area. So make it the best Tuesday ever at Young Harris Water Sports.
All righty, folks, we're back with you. We are live feeding on YouTube. If you'd like to comment or ask questions to any of these gentlemen that's sitting over here about the airport or anything going on. Now, Hippie's actually you're one of the commissioners now, right?
Yeah, for now. Yeah, I'm getting out of it. I thought, 8 years was long enough for anybody to do that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I like to see change, you know, but you hate to lose out on that. But anyway, if you got any questions or anything, just hit the YouTube, send us a message, and Packy will get it, and we'll ask these fellers whatever you want to ask, anything, and put them on the spot here. How about that?
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
You ain't afraid, or you ain't scared?
No, I'm not afraid.
Something I want to talk about before we get too far away from the airport, which we've got this veterans thing coming up that we actually had to cancel last year because of the weather, but I think it's turned out to a better deal because it's actually going to be unreal how big it's getting this year.
Yeah, it's really going to be, it'll be huge. It's going to be the biggest thing, you know, that hit Cherokee County in a while.
Right.
As everybody knows, the last few years we've had our Welcome Home tribute to the veterans. We really go all out. We appreciate our veterans, you know, and we want to show our appreciation, you know, by doing this for them. And this year we were able to incorporate an air show. It's going to be an actual air show with the Welcome Home tribute for the veterans.
Right.
So, and we haven't had an air show over there in Andrews since, I think, 2006, I believe, was the last time we had an air show.
Right.
So it's going to be huge. And again, you know, we want everybody to come out and enjoy this event and watch the air show. And we're able to keep it free. There's no admission or anything, you know, for everybody just to come out, show their appreciation of the veterans, watch the air show, and just have a great time and really enjoy the airport.
Well, now that was, you know, that the year before last we had it over there. I think we had over 5,000 people there. I'm not exaggerating at all.
We did. We had a little over 5,000. It wouldn't surprise me. People love an air show.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they love to see airplanes. And with this air show being incorporated in with the veterans event, it wouldn't surprise me if we have 9,000 people over there.
When they had the P-51 Mustang, which was absolutely amazing, they got out and flew that, and it was amazing. And you promised we was going to have the Corsair.
They're promising me this year that we will have the Corsair. And you were talking about the P-51 Mustang. I've been waiting 30-some years to hear, you know, those big 12-cylinder P-51 Mustang come roaring up the valley. You know, those things are amazing. But we're going to have a great show. There'll be a lot of the planes there on static display, and then, of course, you know, the ones doing the actual air show. So it's going to be great. Everybody should really come out and enjoy this event.
And this for the veterans. This is a veterans appreciation. And that's the thing about it that I enjoy about as well as the planes is listening to them guys talk to each other about back in the day and the stuff they got involved in.
And this is going to be on September the 24th. It's going to be a little bit earlier this year than normal.
Right.
Because we in October, there's a lot of air shows and stuff going along in the region, and we figured if we get this a little bit earlier, we had a better chance of getting, you know, some performers there at the air show. And,
right.
And so it's going to be huge. Everybody should come out.
Well, now, do you know some of the planes that's coming? I mean, that you're pretty sure that's going to be there?
Yeah, the two of the performers in the air show is guys that I actually flew with when I was working at the airline. Mm-hmm. And we've got two T6. They put on a really good show.
Right.
And we've got a Veronica Champ. And then a guy does a comedy act in a Piper Cub. And this is going to be, kids will enjoy this.
Right.
He acts like he doesn't know how to fly, and he accidentally leans up against the prop, you know, and the thing starts, you know. And, and he'll run and jump in it, you know, and trying to figure out how to fly. But it's fun.
Yeah.
You know, but and we've got, of course, everybody likes to see a Pitts. We've got a Pitts coming. It's a little bi-wing airbag airplane. And those guys will really put us on a good show. It's going to be something else.
I love it, and the kids will love it. And this is going to be a big event, and it's a free event. That's the thing.
Everything's free.
Yeah.
We're trying to we've had this thing free for the veterans since day one when we started it.
Mm-hmm.
No admission charge. Bring the kids out. You know, let them look around. They can actually go in some of the airplanes, touch them, you know, and learn about them. So it's going to be a really good thing.
That's the difference. You know, we were talking the other day about an air show and a car show. Car shows are like, do not touch my car. And airplane guys are like, yeah, man, check this out, you know.
Yeah, they let you inside of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have cars. We're going to have a car show there also. Airplanes on display, you know, so and motorcycles.
And a lot of military stuff. I know they bring a lot of military stuff that's coming in, and that's going to, I mean, it was really neat. And I hate it rained us out last year, but that's, you know, you can't fly in the rain with the wind and that kind of stuff. So hopefully it'll work out this year.
And these airplanes, when you schedule them in, you know, you can't reschedule a week later.
Right.
You know, because these people go, you know, they've got stuff scheduled about every week. So we're going to pray, you know, for good weather this year on September the 24th, and hopefully, it'll be a little better than last year.
So let me ask you another question. I know you do a lot with the kids. You've actually got a something set up to where you can raise money where these kids can actually take pilot's or get their license.
Yeah, we've got a lot of money available. We need kids.
Right.
So and anybody that has a teenage kid that is interested in flying whatsoever, they need to bring them by there.
Right.
And let us show them what it's all about.
Does that go by age or chronological age, or can Steve and I get involved in that?
He's a little bit old for that.
I don't know. Our wives seem to think we act like kids all the time, so we thought we could get in on it.
We've got a few rules in order for us to pay, out of the foundation. It's from 16 to 19, and I think we should lower that maybe 6 months, 15 and a half, because they can solo on their 16th birthday.
Right.
And they can get their license on their 17th birthday, and we've had several of them do that. So we're excited about this, and like I said, we've got combined with what Clay County has, we have over $80,000 that in this foundation to pay for these kids. So, and if any of the parents out there, if you've got a kid that's interested in aviation, bring them by.
Yeah.
Because we really
Great
we like to
program.
see these kids get excited about it. So.
Well, it is, man. I ain't kidding you. My boys have got involved in it, and I just love it. And we bought it. And everybody makes fun of my plane, and I know y'all laugh at me when I try to fly it. You're like, there's no way I'd get in that. But I'm telling you, it's another world. It really is.
Yeah, we duct tape that wing back on there. I think it's going to stay this time.
I appreciate that. I really
Nothing
do.
a little Bondo and duct tape won't take care of it.
I ain't scared. If the NASCAR will do it, I'll do it. I'll guarantee it. But yeah, I love it. But anyway,
Hey, I rode one of them to the ground one time, an airplane.
you did?
Yeah. When I was 14, I was in a plane crash.
No kidding.
Yeah, and we were running 186 miles an hour on the Johnson Ball and run into the top of it. And we were up there for 2 days. And me and my brother, I had a twin brother. It killed the pilot and my dad.
Uh-oh.
And me and my brother, I drug my brother from the top of the Johnson Ball to the Bristol Fields, and they found us.
Wow.
They put him in an ambulance and took him to Erlanger, put me in an ambulance, and then we wrecked that. It rode 6 times. And I got out of that, and I didn't have a scratch in that either. So
I think the good Lord was trying
he was
trying to tell you something.
Hey, you want to go to the casino with me?
No, well, I've already
That
used all my luck apparently.
Yeah, that's funny. My daddy and I've actually sent that to a buddy of mine that writes songs. But years ago, my daddy wrecked a 50 Ford, and he rolled it over about 6 times, and he was in the hospital. And he probably wasn't, 17, 18 years old back in the day. And his mother, my grandmother, went to see him in the hospital, and she said, "Lord, Morris, all I know is the good Lord was right in there with you." And Daddy said, "Well, if he was, he took a hell of a ride."
Yeah. The ambulance wreck was tougher than the plane crash.
Yeah,
actually.
I can believe that. Yeah, I can believe that, folks. We have got to get to a break. We're at that point. So, but anyway, take us away, Mr. Ed.
All right.
The Morning Dish.
The Tuesday Morning Dish is powered by Young Harris Water Sports. You want to deal with people who love boats? You've come to the right place. From a new covered storage facility to boat consignment services, it's all in one place with Young Harris Water Sports.
Okay, now I'm back with you, folks. We're sitting over here with Gaylan Truell from the Andrews Murphy Airport in Hippie Westmoreland, and we've been talking politics, all local politics, man. It's always local politics. But now you talk about something that I've preached to the choir 100 times over. You're talking about zoning. We had to come back to the show. What are you?
Oh, we were discussing. So I've been going to being the FBO at the airport,
Right,
and involved with the county. I have to, I'm at all the commissioner meetings.
Right.
And I've seen all this thing unfolding. And there's some plans in action that really ought to get Cherokee County voters upset. Because if this thing happens, their way of life can change, forever. Because, and this is one of the most important elections, that's taken place in a long time or forever in Cherokee County. Because the voters got to get out and stop this thing, because, and even Commissioner Jan Griggs brought it up in the last commissioner meeting, about a planning committee.
Right.
And a planning committee is the first step of, coming with ordinance and zoning.
A zoning board.
A
You have to
zoning
have a
board.
zoning board in place before you can start zoning. So, we've got some issues with crypto mines and noise that we're working on, and I think we're making some great progress, especially in the last week. But the beginning of zoning in Cherokee County, which we haven't had for 138 years, is a zoning board. They're calling it it wasn't a
Planning committee.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I am not for zoning, and that's the thing about it. We got in an argument one time, and they said, well, what if a pig farm moved in beside your house? I said, well, I wouldn't much like it, but I'd fight for the right for him to be able to do what he wants to do with his property, because we're America. If you buy your property, you pay your taxes on your property. It should be yours, and nobody should be able to tell you how to live on your property. Now, if they want that kind of stuff, they are subdivisions that have got AOCs or whatever. AOCs.
HOAs.
HOAs, AOCs, same thing. But they can live in if they want to do that. They can have that. But when it comes to that, man, that is entirely putting your property in somebody else's right to tell you what to do with it. I ain't for it at all.
See, there's people need to understand something. If you're doing something that puts people at risk, there's already laws in place for that. No one's saying we want you to, go, set off explosives in your backyard. Well, Stephen, with the exception of you, but your neighbors are the ones setting the explosives. But there's already rules and laws covering that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. And, I think we need to go backwards a little bit to where people go talk to their neighbors. Go communicate. Stop doing this, putting it in the hands of politicians and making them the bad guys. We're going to put it in the hands of you guys, so no matter what you decide, you're wrong. And like Stephen said, there are subdivisions that if you really want to go into a gated community, they're there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this, the people really need to they need to get the word out, because these people that's planning this thing, they're trying to put a smoke screen up, and try to ease this thing in.
Yeah.
But in order for this thing to take place, there's a couple of things that has to happen. One, Cal Stiles has got to get reelected.
Right.
And then the commission board that they have now, thank goodness we've got 3 commissioners on there, that doesn't promote zoning and these ordinances. But one of these seats, they've got to win one more seat besides, number 1, Cal's got to get reelected. Number 2, they've got to get another board member in there that will vote for them on this thing, that will support them. So the voters need to, they need to educate themselves, see what's happening, ask questions, and my goodness, get out and vote.
Yeah. Well, that's something that I talk about this, and I'm glad we got people moving to the area, and it's really helping. There's no doubt. But, a lot of folks come in, and they want to change the way we live, and then they get old, and they move back home and leave us with these changes that they come in that we didn't want to begin with. Yeah. And that just frustrates me to death because, if I'm going to move to a place, I'm going to get in there, and I'm just going to get along with everybody and do whatever they're doing. I'm not going
And you
there.
know what? The huge majority of them are like that. There's just a very few that are not. And,
right.
But they're the loud ones. They're the loud ones.
I mean, it's like you were born and raised. I'm gonna live in Hiawassee till the good Lord calls me home, or the other guy. But I don't know which one. Hopefully, it's the good Lord.
Yeah, it will be.
But a lot of these folks come in here. They don't live here forever. They don't. They come in. They live for a little while. Want to change all the way you're living, and then go back. And like I say, they're the one that's hollering the loudest. And I'm not for zoning at all.
No, I'm not. A lot of them come in here and they'll have their "Don't tread on me" yellow shirt on.
Right.
First thing they do is tread on me, the local man. And I hate to say that, but that's true, you know.
Yeah, I guarantee it.
Yeah, I come from an area where zoning is literally destroyed. There's, unless you're making $750,000 or more, you can't afford to live there. You've got to abide by rules. Now, I don't like when terms are used like planning. When I think in terms of planning, I think of planning of businesses. What can we do to attract business? What can we do?
Well,
and they use that smoke screen, like you said, where they'll use a term like planning. I can get behind planning,
right.
When really what it's about is controlling.
Control.
And I think most of the people, I call them mountain people. That's what I am. I'm
right.
mountain people, most of these mountain people, they don't want anybody telling them what they can do on their property. You know, leave me alone, you know, and let things go as they are. But if they want to continue to do that, they're going to have to get behind this thing and stop it. You know, vote these people out that are supporting these things, and absolutely don't vote for the ones that's trying to get reelected so they can make this happen. Like, don't be the man sitting on the porch talking to your neighbor, you know, saying, man, I'd like to cut that tree in my yard, but, you know, this is zoning, you know, I can't without getting permission. Don't be that guy unless you're the guy that voted to stop it.
Yeah.
So if you
Why do they want this? Why do they want this? I don't understand why.
It's a control thing. You know, they're absolutely wanting to want this.
Hey, let me tell you this story, and I'll shut up. We had some meetings back last year about consolidation, and Commissioner Stiles said that he had talked to the legislature and both representatives, and they said if he had this resolution signed by our chair,
Right.
and that was on a Monday night, he told us that if we had it back to him by Wednesday, it could be on the floor.
Yeah, you better hurry. We got 10 seconds.
It could be on the floor. We found out the other day, I talked to the representatives, and it was all a lie. I talked to both of them, Carl and Kevin, and he lied about it.
Wow. Folks, we've not been very funny today, but we're going to have a good time when that air show comes in. Y'all need to check on that. No doubt that is going to be. But hopefully we've opened some eyes up on that. And
Quick, do it, Gaylan.
Hey, Sherry wanted me to be sure and announce on the Welcome Home tribute to the veterans about the chili cook-off. There's going to be lots of good chili there for us. And Sherry, I'm sorry I forgot that, but we just barely got it on.
We got it, baby. We got it. We'll be back bright and early in the morning, folks, and we will
Have
talk.
a good one, Stephen.
Yeah, man.
Thank
Y'all
you,
take
man.
care.
Thanks for letting us
Thanks
come
a
on.
lot, guys.